I told y'all. I told you to pile in at the 2-minute warning because it was going to be one of those games. Texas is going to win. We're just trying to figure out the final score. We're live at TCH Social Austin. It is the postgame show brought to you by the Lowy Law Firm. Shout out to Adam and his crew. Shout out to all of you that are already in the Specs chat. We appreciate you. Texas is up 38-7 right now at the 2-minute warning. So they're going to win probably 38-7 as I believe they still have the ball and trying to get rid of the clock. Catch, give me your reaction to what you've seen so far. Texas definitely going to get an easy win, but there is a lot of layers to this one.
Yeah, look, this entire month of September, I'm just going to look as an extended preseason. So it's not a whole lot about where this team is today on September 6th after the first of these 3 preseason games, if you will. It's about where they will be when they go to Gainesville in October. And then when they play Oklahoma the week after that, that's when really who this team is as a football team really matters. I think that, they didn't look like a national championship team today, but I don't know who across the country is. Penn State was up 10-0 at the half. They'll be there in the end too, somewhere in that playoff mix. And yet I don't know that there's a Penn State postgame show doing a whole lot of national championship talk today.
Right.
To me, this was about getting 60 minutes worth of game reps in. Arch Manning got those in. This offensive line got those in. They needed that. It was about, I think we have a firmer picture of what the depth chart looks like today with regards to after that first layer of frontline guys, who's next. And I think what are the positions where we're still waiting for that to happen. But this was one of those, they put a notch on a belt. I don't think anybody's really going to go home and watch this on the DVR if they still do DVRs in 2025.
How dare you? That's exactly where I'm going to watch it.
I just don't think that this is anything that we need to concern ourselves with beyond the immediate talking points of the game. This team is a work in progress. And I think today we watched a little bit of the progress. I don't know that they grew by leaps and bounds, but I think every player on that roster will be better for having gone through today. It doesn't look like they suffered any major injuries. Looks like Colin Simmons is going to be okay. Looks like Michael Taff was okay. That would have been another big deal if they'd looked better today.
Right.
But then even one guy gets hurt. Then I think we think about this game in a little bit of a different fashion. And honestly, when Simmons first went down late third quarter, it was a little bit of oh crap, this is literally the last thing in the world that you want. It didn't go down that way, but in the end, serviceable performance. Nothing to get overly excited about. I don't think Texas fans are going to be taunting people on social media tonight.
I think that's definitely true.
But that's okay. That's okay. Because quite honestly, the thing that didn't need to happen, I don't think 70-3 does anything either. I would be saying the same message had they absolutely throttled San Jose State today. Yeah. This is about who they're going to be later in the season, and I am okay with the idea that who they are right now is less important than the journey of getting to where eventually they need to be.
If y'all want to jump in with a super chat, you can do it. That is exactly what James did for $9.99. And James starts us off. Not winning 10. Offense, no identity. Arch misses open wide receivers, then makes great throw, and we drop it. Simmons can't stop committing penalties. Not the D of last year. 9-3 best case. Score doesn't match the play. Obviously, this is a handle your business game like we talked about all week. I picked them in the 50s. I think you may have done the same thing. So they didn't quite get to there. I thought this one needed to be in the 50s. Next week will need to be 60s. And then there's the Sam game is actually probably the toughest of these 3. And I thought maybe that's more of this kind of score today. So I did expect it to be up more 40s and 50s. Catch penalties were mentioned here. I didn't realize it was this bad at the end. 12 for 115.
Well, they were 6 for 70 in the first half.
Whew, that's bad.
I thought one of the things that happened in this game was the coaches all week really stressed about refocus. San Jose State is this week's Ohio State game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a team that a lot of penalties, a little sloppy, more penalties than I think Sarkisian would be comfortable with on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and little dumb stuff. And again, it was pointed out in that last super chat. You don't want a guy like Colin Simmons. Nobody should not line up offsides or jump offsides. But Colin doing it a couple times, plus the roughing the passer thing where he shoves the quarterback. just, I don't know. It didn't feel like, we kept saying all week, zeros and ones got to show up. And this, Anthony Hill certainly had a moment or two on defense, but Colin Simmons had another weird day. Just not the day you want him to have.
Oh, look, and the thing that I would say in response to the first super chat is that nobody should be drawing conclusions based on today. And look, if anything, if we learned anything last year in college football, we were ready to bury Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a couple of times last season.
You're right.
And they're the first modern day, man. Just get in. And then play your best football later in the season. The Texas team today wasn't winning shit. They're not, but they don't have to. Today's not a day where they were obligated. Last week they were, because they were playing on the road at the now number one team in the country, the defending national champions.
Right.
That's the risk that you run. Both of those schools ran that risk of, because I went back and watched that game, and I didn't think Ohio State played particularly well. I don't think Ohio State fans would come out of that game saying, if we just replicate that every week, we're going to win the national championship. Both of those schools,
they know they need to be better.
They represented themselves okay, but they both look like teams with young quarterbacks who are still trying to figure it out. I think on the offensive side of the ball, it's not just Arch. And I think that gets lost. But this is a team that just today, Trey Wisner not in the game means that you had C.J. Baxter coming off of an injury and Christian Clark coming off of an injury as the two main running backs. Your receivers, Ryan Wingo wants to be Matthew Golden, but he's not yet. He's not. They try to get in the ball today like he was Matthew Golden.
That drop catch.
Like he's not. And Jack injuries isn't quite Gunnar Helm. That receiving core as a whole is just not quite as good as it was a year ago. They're not as good at running back without Jaden Blue. This team really misses Jaden Blue.
Yeah, they do.
Now, they don't miss the fact that he probably would have put the ball on the turf at some point today. But
there's no need for that.
Well, no, because that's why ultimately his season last year was marred by that. You don't remember the explosiveness as much as you remember him being in the doghouse for fumbling. But, man, they just don't have anybody that feels like they were shot out of a cannon when they touch the ball.
And obviously they start the game today with Wisner out. Wisner in street clothes. One of the things you obviously get a chance to do in these handle your business games is if you've got a guy that's banged up at the beginning, do not chance it. They didn't chance it with Wisner. Also, Alex January didn't start this game either. It wasn't able to not start.
No,
didn't play
Mosley
at all.
You know what I mean? Like
Mosley still not playing. Right. They're still did you just Emmanuel
Did I do that?
Catch. You were so good. You had set yourself up with the don't call me Emmanuel Sanders, and then you slipped. Just
at least I got
details.
At least I got the Mosley part right.
13 penalties for 120. I'm putting that one on you. 13 penalties.
Hey, that's fair.
All right. Fair. If you guys want to jump in the chat, feel free. To the person who asked, yes, I do like the San Jose State helmet. I need that mini helmet, the spear over the top with the Spartan. It's a great look. San Jose State not near good enough today. It is final, 38-7. Texas gets the win. Catch in the chat so far. I've seen a mixture of things, but I've seen multiple chatters willing to watch this game and say 8-4. Is that just a typical fan that's drinking a little bit and is out of control? I mean, you watch a game like this and try to determine something. I mean, you want to go that far?
Not really.
I don't either. That's not what I saw.
Not really. And it's going in. I think those people, and I don't mean to call anybody out. I'm really not paying attention to the chat. So I'm not talking to anybody in particular here.
Right.
But you're looking for the wrong thing today. If you could be swayed into thinking that, it makes me think you could be swayed in the other direction had they played at a certain level. And I don't think, I don't know that anybody needs to be looking. I think when we get to the end of this month, if you want to draw some conclusions after game 4, a third of the way through the season, 3 home games in a row, where the kinks should be worked out a little bit. Really, you know what I mean? Like I felt like today you're still getting that. Ryan Wingo dropping passes and not coming up with plays, but Parker Livingstone doing the opposite. Like they're still figuring out. I came away from today thinking that Parker Livingstone is wide receiver 1 for this team, but I don't think they think that.
No.
But through the first 2 weeks of the season, it's kind of materialized that way. Now, it was the same a year ago. The thought was that Isaiah Bond would be wide receiver 1.
Yeah, that's a good point.
By the time you got out of the Michigan game week 2, you were like, man, he likes Matthew Golden.
Yeah, this is Golden. Yeah. And right now, the relationship you can obviously see, it's a little bit with Livingstone. It's injuries, too.
Yeah.
It's going to be tight ends and Livingstone right now until things come together. Obviously, Wingo's got to catch a ball. I mean, you got to catch that ball. I wish they'd gotten him more opportunities on that kind of route later in the game. Next week against UTEP, you got to find Ryan Wingo a big, if he's your guy. You know, to your argument, if he's wide receiver 1, prove it next week against UTEP. We did get this super chat in for $5 from Michael. Texas' inability to score without getting a turnover first was disappointing.
But Michael, it wasn't disappointing that turnovers arrived.
I was gonna say it's a team that you think you love your defense. Your coach loves your defense. He said they needed to get turnovers, and my God, did they?
I mean, today was a day where they were able to turn San Jose State. Look, in a weird way, the totality of the defensive performance wasn't as good today as it was a week ago. But the big plays created were, and that is what helped get Texas on the scoreboard. That's what helped get 238.
Mm-hmm. And Catch, let me give, I'll toot the horn of the war room from Thursday night. Who was that guy that got mentioned in your part of the war room?
Anthony Smith.
That guy that couldn't get taken. He was playing so well, you just couldn't take him off the field. I thought, now maybe the stats didn't say he stripped 2. I thought he stripped 2. He got credit for that first one, and I thought he did both of them. But either way, just really active stuff from 26. He was involved and was present right away. That's an awesome thing to see from a young player like that. He was great.
No, and look, that guy's going to be a lot better by the time he gets to October. So today really, I thought if we were to go position by position on guys that I thought took steps forward that will really matter when these games start reaching like Gainesville, right? The next time we see Texas play a game where the outcome's in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought today, I mean, Livingstone took another big step forward, 4 for 128 and 2 touchdowns, I think. Like that's, and that doesn't include the yardage he would have had on the big play that got called back somewhat because of the late penalty.
Oh, that's right, because it took a little bit off of it. Yeah.
You know, you think about, I think at tight end, I think it was good to see really that position as a whole contributed a little bit. You saw Jordan Washington catch a ball, Jack Injuries down the seam. Seems to be a thing that Arch likes, I think.
Winston on the outside.
Hey,
caught
all those
one,
guys,
big 85.
You can't run before you walk. You can't walk before you crawl. Like there's this team's just in the middle of a process. And the thing is, look, 8-4 is on the table because all kinds of things could happen that could cause that to happen. This team could run the table, presumably. I think that you're doing football wrong if you don't know what you need to be looking for at this team at this level, and you're looking for more, and you're looking for discernible answers that are that could 1,000% tell you what is going to happen on the field. And like, that's not going to happen. I took Ryan Wingo and the more on Prize Picks for receiving yards on almost everything today. I thought that's definitely going to happen.
I know.
And it didn't. And look, we need to start seeing it happen for Ryan Wingo because we've assumed this guy is going to be an all SEC type of producer, and he hasn't been. And now I don't know that we could say, hey, well, when they play this game in Georgia, or when they play the OU game, or when they even play the game in Gainesville, can you count on Ryan Wingo to show up and give a big performance? And I think we maybe took for granted 9 days ago that the answer would be yes.
Well, yeah, and I think that's another thing coming up next week. Next week, in my estimation, it should be by last year's numbers the easiest game of these 3. That was a 3-9 team last year for UTEP. If they don't show Ryan Wingo off next week, I think we'll have our answer. I think we will.
Well, they're not going to give up on that, but there's no getting around the fact that he's not producing at a high level, and they need that not by next week. They could use it starting to begin next week, but they need this offense and this team to really start hitting all cylinders in about 3 to 4 weeks. And I'm not going to lean off the ledge when they're not doing it on September 5th or September 6th. But the tone will change when we get to the end of this little preseason. They get the bye before Florida.
Yep.
There's just a lot still going on. There's no reason to panic, but like, hey man, it'd just be like if Romans were all pissy because like thought they said Rome was going to be good. I don't see anything. What's this Coliseum thing? This Coliseum, I guess they're going to do something in here.
Okay. All right.
It's the goddamn Romans. Patience, guys.
The Rome analogy I wasn't expecting on the post-game show. Texas wins 38-7. Onward check-in from the stadium. And right now, Jason Sukamel checking in with his thoughts on it. Jason, Texas wins it 38-7. What do you think?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a Rome analogy either when I hopped in the studio here. But I think I view it kind of like Ketch did, if I'm understanding him correctly. I didn't hear much of it. But, a bit of an up and down performance. You look at the score and you're like, 38-7, 31-point victory. But there were some moments in this game that were kind of frustrating, like kind of ugly at times. Arch Manning, I don't know if you guys probably didn't see it or hear it at the end of the game. The word he used repeatedly was sloppy. And it was. There were some sloppy moments on offense. I mean, Texas outgains them 472 yards they gained. Texas does. You're like, okay, that's a good performance. Arch, you look at his statistics, you're like 295 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 183 passer rating. Like, that's damn good, right? But then but there's a lot left on the table too. So, I give it a passing grade, Chad. I mean, they won 38-7. I predicted 45-7, so I was mad when Jarrett Gibson fumbled there at the end. I was like, damn it.
So close, right there.
Yes, I was so close to nailing it. But, and I said this in my write-up that I just posted. I said, hey, we've got to remember this is still a young team with a young quarterback, a young skill position players, especially with Trey Wisner out of the game, a young offensive line. It's going to have moments of sloppy football on offense. But like Ketch said, hey, it needs to be better, not by next week, but by the time they head to Florida, it better be better than, a little cleaner, I should say, I guess, than it was today. But, overall, I'd give it a passing grade for the team overall, Chad.
Yeah. In games like this, they're always handle your business, but sometimes it's also handle your business. And like when you're in school, clean up your area. And that's what Texas is, both of them. They handled their business. Now you got to clean things up. 12 for 115 on penalties is just not something you want. You just don't want that.
That and 2 for 12 on third down. I mean, they've got to be better on third down.
I didn't realize. I didn't see that. That's a bad number too. Yeah. You don't want that.
Yeah. And they were 1 for 10 when Arch was in the game. I think 1 for 2 after that. So 1 for 10 when Arch left the game on third down. So.
Hey, Jason, before we knock out some super chats, because I see them building up, so we'll knock those out in a second. And I'll go to you first on this, but Chad, I wanted your answer to this too.
Mm-hmm.
The single most positive and the single most negative thing about today for you was what? Like if your neighbor down the street doesn't see the game and just says, tell me one good and one negative thing.
Good, forcing 4 turnovers. That was something they preached coming into this game. They've been working on it. They didn't have any in game 1, so they wanted to turn the ball over. And those were forced turnovers, most of those. I mean, those were, ripping the ball out. So that would be the good. The negative was, I'm going to say it again, just overall, there were, slow start. The third quarter was pretty bad up until the end of the third quarter. They had a drive, but there was just too many moments of not great football against a pretty bad opponent. So just not consistent enough, I guess, would be the negative for me.
Yeah, mine's basically the same. But yeah, the positive for me would be the defense, active defense, creating turnovers. And then I'll just call it sloppiness on the negative side. Just an overall sloppiness from the team where it's 38-7, but this could have been, you don't play the sloppy version, it's 65-7.
And Chad, you and I said earlier in the week, like, we needed to see this game in the 40s and the 50s for Texas, right?
Yep.
That's what national championship type teams do to the San Jose States of the world. 38-7, I don't know, man. I mean, it was good, but it was definitely, I don't know if it was quite good enough.
Right.
But
again,
better. Week 2, there's room to improve. So.
Yep.
I think for me, real quick, before we go to some super chats, I think that the biggest negative is how slow this team is on offense. That, Jesus, thank God they've got Parker Livingstone. Because he feels like he is a guy that's a big play waiting to happen.
Right.
But I don't know if they have anybody that I think that they can just throw a hitch to and take easy yardage that just you know what I mean? And the running back position, Christian Clark's not the same guy. He's not. He's just not the same guy. He's bigger. Like he's a bigger guy, but the guy that I saw in high school that was electric, that wasn't as big as he is now, like that guy's gone. And I don't know that means that Christian Clark isn't going to be good. It just means that I thought what Christian Clark looked like he was going to be as a high school athlete versus what he is right now as a college running back is kind of disappointing because they don't have anybody else that really does it. Like CJ Baxter, I don't even know, did he break a run today of more than
he had 18 yards. 18 yards was his longest catch.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
Late
in the second quarter, he had a pretty long run.
It is an offense that for me, look, the running backs average 4.8. Well, the running game averaged 4.8 yards per carry against San Jose State. That's not good enough. I think more concerning was that Baxter had a free run today at the position, and he only averaged 4.9 yards per carry. Gibson was the best of the group at 5.4, but he fumbled on the last one of those that really takes a little – not that you can have a big shine on your performance when you're doing it in the fourth quarter against San Jose State, but ask Jaden Blue, don't fumble. I mean, that doesn't help you get on the field in crunch time.
Right.
And then Christian Clark came out, had a 13-yard run, but then the other 6 carries went for 8 yards. Oof. And he only averaged 3 during the game. Not good enough for the running game. And we know that the passing game wasn't good enough. This is just an offense right now that looks like they have to work hard to score points. And Steve Sarkisian's offenses aren't supposed to be that. And there's no reason to panic yet. But they had to work hard today to get points, and they did need points off of turnovers. And, I think that, and we know that the offense dropped passes and committed penalties and 2 steps forward and 3 steps back quite a bit of the game today. Again, I think this is the low basement performance for me. Next week needs to be better than this week. And I really am not comparing anything to Ohio State. That was its own season, was its own part of the schedule. To me, this almost was the first game of the season. And if you kind of look at it that way, it very much had a little bit more of that feel to it than the Ohio State game did. So next week, I really want to see the guys that sputtered a little bit today. Next week's a big week for Ryan Wingo. He needs to get it going.
No doubt. Yeah. If he can't get it going next week, there's something going on. Let's start plowing through these super chats. Thank you, Esrone 1707. I feel like there's a reason for that. This feels like 2006 in a way. Colt struggles against Ohio State, then used the next 2 or 3 games to develop, then caught fire, and he had a better O-line. Okay, interesting. A 2006 comparison. Let's go up here to Michael, throwing $5 at us. Thank you, Michael. Texas' inability to score without getting a turnover first was just about, that's the first one we got. Sorry.
I was saying, I don't really care about that.
No, we started there. All right. Edits with 5. Everybody take a breath. We will get better throughout the season. No need for sky is falling right now.
Chad wanted to put that on the thumbnail. Sky is falling.
That is not true.
I was like, no, we're not, Aggie.
That is not true. That is a total lie. Patrick, $10. Texas looked lackluster on both sides of the ball, apart from the capitalization on takeaways. Kudos. Slow start. Run defense was meh. San Jose quarterback had too much time. Freak out postponed until game 4. Game 4 would be Sam Houston State. No need.
Guys.
No need for freak out.
We've known what this schedule is since it really got released, and I think you've got the right attitude, Patrick. It can't be forced, but I don't even know that I would lose it after week 4. It's not a game of any kind of jeopardy.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is maybe it's my fault that I've been promising Texas fans a parade route through September. These 3 games are supposed to look good. Rhythms there.
Well, what was the spread of today's game?
36-37. They didn't get there. So it's supposed to be a good fluid performance. Everybody gets to show off. Young players get to play. Backup everybody's get to play. Texas fans just didn't quite see that today. I wouldn't go as far as, well, no, they were going to be 8-4. I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know what this team's going to be. That's the reality, is that if you're very –
Sorry.
What's that?
I'm just saying it's week 2. I think everybody's panicking a little too much. I'm looking right now. Georgia's up 14-3 going into the half on Austin Peay. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man. They won 38-7. They forced 5 turnovers. Yeah, it probably should have been bigger, but like everybody on Orange Bloods and in the chats acted like.
But Jason, like the thing to me, it's weird to me. Multiple people jumped in the chat and said 8-4 before we got started. Like, did that thought cross your mind as you were watching this game? I mean, this team could be 8-4. That's not. I never had.
They got a lot of room to improve, but like I said, it's week 2. It's a young offense. It's a young quarterback. It's young skill position players. I mean, they should get better week by week. So, in my column, when people go to Orange Bloods, I literally took a screen capture of the message board with 2 minutes left. I said, you'd think Texas lost the game the way these thread titles were reading. I mean, I get it. It wasn't championship caliber football today, but it didn't need to be. They improved from week 1. They'll probably improve week 3 they'll improve from week 2 to week 3. Should continue to prove after that. So, I don't understand the sense of panic that I'm picking up from the fan base.
Tears from a yacht. Did you not have the caviar? Well, we had it. We only had 5 cases and we ordered 6. All right. Let's clean off these super chats. ATX Bates. We saw him out here at TCH Social Austin. 2 things. Art seemed like he may be favoring something in his non-throwing shoulder/arm, and he seems to hit the vertical throws easier than crossers. And Bates did point that out to me during the game. I know it's an insensitive question, guys, but I brought it up after the first game. I'm still seeing it. There was even a slow motion moment in the game today where he lets one go and he kind of looked like he winced or
but
whatever.
It didn't happen again.
But it didn't happen again. You're right. So I know it's probably rude to ask Sark, hey, man, is your quarterback going through something? But Bates, I see it too. I don't know if it's anything. We will hope that it's not. For Arch. Oscar 499. Arch just has some serious mechanical issues that cause errant throws. Why would a 5-star struggle that way mechanically? Let's hit that, guys. Catch you first. Mechanically, today from Columbus, you see improvement? Same thing in your mind? What stood out there?
This is going to sound horrible.
Okay.
So I apologize for saying it. I don't know or think if he's hurt. I can see why someone would ask the question.
Okay.
He looks like he's laboring to throw the football. And it reminds me of what Garrett Gilbert looked like in 2010 when he was coming off of the torn labrum.
Oh, no, that was one of the threads on Orange Bloods that I referenced.
Uh-oh.
Arch equals Garrett Gilbert. Yes.
Well, and I don't mean like he's playing like Garrett Gilbert. I mean, I watched Garrett Gilbert throw the ball as a young player at Texas, and I just didn't know who that was. And really, Garrett Gilbert had a lot of that as a senior as well. He had that labrum injury between his junior year and his senior year. He comes back to play right away, almost no downtime. He plays his whole senior season. And it always felt like he was just laboring to throw a ball that he otherwise had previously thrown the ball, such a smooth release and delivery, and then it was just gone one day. I don't know if it's because the game hasn't slowed down. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I don't feel like Arch is delivering the football as cleanly and as effortlessly as he did at times last year when he started. And I don't know why that is, but it's something. I don't quite know what it is, but like there was even a ball that he completed early in the game. It might have even been to Livingstone where like he just had to it looked like he had to put everything in his body to get the ball out there.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, God, to make the throws you're trying to throw, it looks like you're using your entire body to get them there as opposed to, I didn't think think about that ball he did throw it at Columbus in Columbus a week ago to injuries. The beautiful
the one down the side. Yeah.
Like that looked effortless in the delivery and like getting it there. Today, it just looks like he was really having to try hard to throw the ball. And I don't know what it means.
Jason, what'd you see on the mechanic side of it?
I'm gonna have to go rewatch the game and I don't know. I didn't sense that catch what you're saying. I mean, he overshot Wingo on one deep ball. I mean, so the mechanic stuff I thought was certainly better than week 1.
It's his arm angle and like his whole motion for delivery is
it his non-throwing arm? Is that what you're
no?
Well, my part of it is I'm I thought the non-throwing arm was just much more of a part of the delivery. I feel like it's hanging a little bit, and he's really letting everything be on that right arm. I just felt like it was a little more, I don't know. It's weird. This arm feels like he's kind of T-Rexing it a little bit as he's throwing. Maybe I'm making too much of it, but it just looks weird to me.
I didn't. I mean, I saw people talking about it, but honestly, I didn't pick up on it. Maybe that's on me for not being perceptive enough, and I'll give it a rewatch and look.
Like I thought he's throwing the football like his shoulder hurts. If you were to ask me if you were to turn the play-by-play off and just had me watch the game, I would ask, did he have a stinger or something? Is there something going on there that's just causing it? Didn't happen all the time, but we did see him react with what looked like a grimace in the middle of throwing the football. And I thought in general, like just very over the top and it kind of exaggerated arm angles as he's trying to throw some of those deep outs. And like those are balls I feel like I've seen him throw pretty effortlessly. And it really looked like he was having to really wing them out there. And, maybe I'm making I don't feel like I'm making too much out of a molehill. We're literally just talking about it. It's not even something that I really mentioned in my instant analysis piece over at Orange Bloods. But if somebody said, Catch, do you think he's hurt? I would say, I don't think so, man. But I'd be lying if I didn't at least wonder while watching, not just, and honestly, not because honestly, if you go back and watch the play where he grimaces, it's a little bit of what I'm talking about. His arm as he's throwing it just does like it's not clean. It's like an abrupt motion in his arm, which causes it to kind of short arm. It's laborious when he does it. It looks like he's throwing over pain in his shoulder.
Yeah.
And look, I have shoulders that hurt. And sometimes you have to do stuff with your shoulders, like even stretch. And you're like,
well, and then
you know what I mean? And that's what it looked like.
And there's a bunch of little things. And if you watch the Ohio State game, there's a moment you watch Arch in warmups. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of rolling of shoulders and all that. I was talking about it coming out of Ohio State. If he's totally healthy, y'all come blame the Aggie. Blame me that I was seeing way too much.
I just don't remember him throwing a ball once last year that looks as laborsome as some of the balls he's thrown in the first two games.
Yeah, that's it. Michael says, dude hit a wide open wingo. Who did his best CD Lamb impression? Yeah, Michael.
I wish you'd done his best CD Lamb impression later in the game, too.
It's just, you got to catch that ball, man.
CD Lamb does do more than drop passes.
Yeah,
I wish Wingo had.
That's fair. That is so bad. Oscar, $4.99. Arch had some serious. No, wait, hold on. Yeah, no.
Struggling.
Just already did that one.
I know you're not getting them off the screen.
I know. I got to get them out of there. Bill, $4.99. What would you grade Sarkisian's performance today? Arch for Heisman. All right, fair enough. Sark's grade for today?
I thought I thought the game plan was good. I didn't really question any of his decisions. I thought Sark was fine today, and we kind of overly critiqued him last week for being too conservative and some of the offensive game plan, but I thought today was a little more creative, a little more aggressive, and I didn't question any of his decisions. Were they 2 for 2 on fourth downs, I think? So,
Catch, you can always be a hard grader. Would you give him a B?
I mean, I give him a C because his team committed 13 penalties, and that is
12. You committed the last
12.
one.
That's right.
Yeah,
I did commit one.
You said Emmett Mosley's name wrong again.
It's the first time in like a month, though.
It was. I know
if that dude would get on the field, I'd call him by his real name.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Now,
I'm supposed to remember these ghosts that haven't even played.
So maybe it's a C+. C+.
He's played less than I have.
C+ because of the sloppiness, Jason. Is that okay for today?
Yeah, but some of those, I would go higher than that. Especially, I mean, you got Brandon Baker false starting again and stuff. I mean, some of those penalties aren't on Sark. I mean,
they didn't cover. Like, I'm not being like a super nitpicker here. I'm okay with like a B-.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably go B-.
That was San Jose. That's a San Jose State team that lost. Who'd they lose to last week?
Central Michigan, I believe.
They lost to Central Michigan at home
by like 16-14 or 18-14.
And then today, I thought San Jose State accounted themselves pretty well.
Hey, that little receiver, that what's his name? The Scudero? That dude might have an NFL future. That guy's a good little player, man.
Dude, Texas just played a Scadaboo and a Scudero like in 4 games. Like for me, that's awesome. You're playing like Happy Days characters. This is fantastic.
I don't know. Like honestly, that's a tough Bill. That's a tough one for me to answer. My first inclination was to say incomplete, but that's kind of a chicken shit way of answering a super chat. So I would say I'll go B-. How about that?
Okay. B
I'm at
minus.
B. I'll give him a B.
All right. This will clean
Hey,
off.
let
the
me ask you
super
this,
chat.
Catch. Like, and maybe you guys addressed it before I hopped in. What grade would you give Arch today?
Like a B minus.
It's probably fair. I mean,
I mean,
like,
here's what I would
120.
say. He finishes with a quarterback rating of 183.3.
Right.
I know. I at the end of the day, Quinn Ewers did that 3 times last season, and 2 of them were in the first 3 games of the season, and one wasn't against Michigan. So one of the things that people were talking about last week was, well, Quinn would have won that game if he would have played. Whatever we want to think about, whatever Arch did today, the way that he finished it, the end result was a performance that was roughly as good as anything Quinn did at any point last season. It didn't look clean, but at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like the numbers, because they don't carry emotion with them. They're just numbers.
It's just there.
And I think that at the end of the day, it wasn't better than that, but had a few drop passes. The penalties didn't help. You know, you think about them getting off the field, and usually they got off the field because there was something that pushed them into a longer yardage situation. They had too many 3rd and longs today that were help created by penalty here. And, you know, you think about, they're on the 1 yard line, and then Cole Hudson gets a 15-yard chop block.
Yeah.
Now they cashed that in.
Right. That's the touchdown to injuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yes,
But that should have been a drive killer. That's a drive killer in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's a drive killer against Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Texas can't punch it in from 1st and goal from the 1.
Right. Don't do that in the swamp.
Don't go 1st and goal from the 16 and take your chances.
Certainly don't do it in Dallas, especially if you're on that particular end of the stadium. We all
a lot
know,
of history there.
right? There's things that can, don't do it in the South End, whatever you're thinking.
I just think that on the whole, it was just a data point for me.
Okay.
For Arch, it was like, look, he gets a lot of credit for receivers catching the ball and running a long way with them, but that's how it goes sometimes. And consequently, Texas defense hadn't forced a turnover all season until the 13 or 14-minute mark of the first quarter. And then they'd forced 3 within the next 3 or 4 game minutes of actual game clock.
It was a wild sequence, wasn't it?
And it goes like that sometimes, you know, like we could have just as easily, part of the story could have been, oh, the defense didn't force, because they were early in that game. I thought the defense in the first quarter looked a lot like the defense against Ohio State, not allowing points, not really allowing a lot of yards, but not creating anything with big plays either.
Not massive plays, yeah.
And then it was boom, boom, boom. And I wonder, like, are we going to see that? Is that what happens with Ryan Wingo eventually? Is that what happens eventually with Arch? Do we see this in the running game? I think the biggest problem that this Texas team has right now on the offensive side of the ball is it doesn't have anything they can definitely lean on.
Right. The one thing you got to love about that sequence is so great, though. Let's, you know, find the good. Not only did your defense force those turnovers, you turned them into touchdowns.
Who's Texas's go-to guy on offense?
Like, that's
right
big.
now?
Oh, it's injuries. Easy. Injuries or Livingstone.
I mean,
it's one of those 2 guys.
The coaches don't know that yet.
Jason, who's your go-to guy on offense right now?
You got to say Livingstone, and I mean, he's still inexperienced, so that's a little bit frightening. I mean,
injuries had 2 targets today, caught both of them.
Yeah,
for touchdowns.
So I'll just say throw it to him more, Catch. Well, yeah.
But Ryan Wingo had
great
8 targets in this game, and he caught 4 of them for 30 yards. So I mean, what they think and what's actually happening are 2 different things. And I think
that's true. I'll still, you know what? I'm going to give everybody another week on this Ryan Wingo thing. Then we can move on if we need to.
Worse than that, he's only averaging 7.5 yards a carry today. So not only is Wingo not producing, but
per catch, you mean?
Per catch.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that's obviously not a great number either. Now, how about this, guys? Because this is a different way to look at Arch. I thought this was interesting from Michael. $4.99. How is this overreaction Saturday? Arch played like that last week, and they win. Would you agree with that? If Arch put that performance out in Columbus, do they beat the Buckeyes?
I mean, last week he was terrible. Today he was better than that. So maybe, probably, I don't know. I don't know how to completely answer that.
Jason, if I tell you that his rating goes into the 180s in the game in Columbus,
that's not what we're saying, is it? Because if that happens, then yes, they win.
There's a little bit of football metaphysics here. I get it that you're trying to figure out, but on its face, Jason, I would say yes to this. I would say they probably beat them if he plays like
Probably,
that.
but then Ohio State probably gets more aggressive on offense. As I'm saying this, Julian saying is 10 for 10, 218 yards and 3 touchdowns, by the way.
Remind everybody who they're playing. Remind everybody.
They're playing Grambling, yeah.
They're playing Grambling. Yes, they are.
Just because Texas, if Arch played like that, then who knows? Ohio State might have been more aggressive and put up more points. But if he had 180 something rating,
Jeremiah Smith has 3 catches for 97 yards today, so he's definitely not playing Texas.
He's definitely not playing the Longhorns today.
I'm looking, Chad, like real quick at this drive chart. You had the 70s, was it 73, 74 to Parker touchdown?
Yeah.
And then the next 3 touchdowns, 34, 36, 1 yard. That's the length of the drives, 34 yards, 36, and a 1 yard touchdown
off
drive.
Turnovers. Yeah.
Texas scored 4 touchdowns in about a 5-minute span of game clock.
Mm-hmm.
You think, and they scored 10 points the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think it was 456 that they put up. Yeah, 456 a time. I think you're dead on there.
And then I'm just looking at it: punt, interception, field goal, punt, fumble, punt. I mean, there are other drives. So,
right.
Yeah, that 5 minutes was awesome. But the more I kind of dissect this game, I was like, they really weren't that good today. Aside from San Jose State really helping them out in that 5 minute stretch.
Sometimes that's a tough way. That's a tough way to look at it. I get what you're saying, but also, Jason,
I'm trying to be a glass half full guy, but makes it tough when I look at these stats.
Here's what I would say: you could say to yourself, "Hey, come on, there's 55 other minutes. Can't make a game about 5 minutes." I might respond with, "Well, if the 5 minutes look like that, you can. If you put 456 together like that and score 28 points in the 5 minutes, I'm going to say not many teams in the country can hang out with you." I mean, every game has its own thing, its own feeling, its own flair. And this one was the defense is going to hand you the football on a short field. What do you do with it?
I don't know. Onward needs to show his ass up.
Touchdown.
I am already exhausted from this postgame.
By the way, how does Trey Moore not get that in the end zone, by the way, that interception?
Say it again, Jason.
How does Trey Moore not score a touchdown on that return? How pissed is he? He didn't even try. I felt like he went out at the 1 on that return.
Oh, yeah, that was.
I was like, dude, how did you not get that in the end zone? Like, just dive.
I do think that one of the things about this game is I think Sark can be harder on this team this week than maybe he was last week. And because, you know, when Humpty Dumpty splatters all over the wall in Columbus, you just want them to believe that they still – you know, and I think this week, I think they'll look at this performance and I think they'll be able.
Oh, you get to bust them up this week.
They will.
Absolutely. Even on plays that ended up great, on the first Livingstone touchdown, I can tell Arch to throw that ball better. On the 1-2 injuries where he turned him, or the heavy, he has to turn his whole body to catch the ball. He can throw that ball a little better. I think there's all kinds, and not to mention 12 penalties for 115. There's a ton they'll coach off of this win.
I always say, man, I'll go back to what have I said since the preseason, that there will be a game this season when Arch has a couple of interceptions and Texas will have to overcome that. It will happen at some point. It almost happened today. He got picked once.
Right.
And then there was another ball that was hung up in the air and could have been intercepted. What I've said is what you hope if you're Texas is that as Arch is growing up and learning lessons about being a starting quarterback at this level, that you can learn lessons without having to pay the ultimate price. Today, he threw one of those stupid-ass young quarterback, and quite honestly, he's a third-year sophomore. It really speaks to the importance of experience in games that he threw that ball that got picked off in the red zone.
Yeah, Sark said it at the half. Got to eat it, period.
And look, every quarterback makes that throw.
Yep.
I mean, everybody, his uncles have done it.
Yep.
His uncles probably did it in both NFL and college.
Every guy you're thinking of did it.
Everybody's done it, but you have to do it before you've done it. And then you got to get your ass chewed out by it. And you'd rather have that happen in San Jose State than Gainesville, for instance.
That's what these 3 games are for. It really is. What you hope is that you come out of it, you get an off week, and you show up on October 4th, a sharply, a sharp-edged knife that you're just not right now. And, Texas broke Rule 1. Rule 1 is you're supposed to see your biggest improvement, gentlemen, between game 1 and game 2. They didn't do it. They didn't do that.
No, but I'm always I've said this like 19 times in the past week, Jason. So if you want to get a drinking game, you could be drunk already, or you could be like, give me $1 every time you say that, and I'll get the piggy bank going.
Go ahead, say it, and I'll drink.
I want this team every year. I say this: you got to be better in October than you were in September, better in November than you were in October, better in December than you were in November. And look, if you're Ohio State, what did you do? You played your best football in January.
Yep.
And that's when it was the most important time to play your best football. And Texas didn't play its best football a week ago. Everybody's comfortable with that. And I think that, there's too many stories where I've fallen for the okie doke in September.
Right.
Where I told you about, I think it was the Lafayette game from 2003, where they win 66-6 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the very next week they get undressed by Matt Jones in Arkansas.
Yeah. And because you know why the 66-3 wins? And you said this correctly earlier. If this game had been out of whack, 65-3, and everything sort of looked perfect, the problem with those games is all it tells you is that they're that much better than Louisiana Lafayette.
When everything goes well.
Right. Everything goes well. What'd you learn today? I learned we're way better than Lulaf.
We can beat the crap out of them.
I learned we'll hammer San Jose State every day of the week. But outside of that, that's why I said I learned more watching Texas play Ohio State last week than I did watching somebody play a softie. So these are tough games in that regard.
But look, I didn't finish my list of roll call of names of guys that I thought, look, Lance Jackson. I mentioned him to you several times today. Like came into the game early on. He's involved in the first turnover created. Played a lot today, it seemed like. He was in a lot. And that was one of those where you're like, on a day where we talked about Colin Simmons not playing at an All-America level, quite frankly.
Yeah.
A guy like Lance Jackson, I thought, who wasn't able to do that a week ago, showed flashes today that when they go to Gainesville, number 40, will have a role. And there were other guys like that. I can't stress enough.
There's stuff on defense,
Jason, your guy, Livingstone, like, it was one thing to do it last week, but this week he jump-started the offense, and it wasn't like he bailed out the offense. He was the offense, and I think that whatever this team's going to be in October, in November, and December, like right now, Parker Livingstone is declaring with his play, he's going to be a huge part of it. And like that isn't – I don't think that's to be dismissed easily. While we sit here and wait for Wingo to find the light switch, that kid has. And now that's 2 games in a row – he's been wide receiver 1 for this team. And I think starting next week, I will start to think of, well, I don't know who's going to have the big game, but Livingstone's going to be somewhere in that mix for certain.
Yeah.
You'll be playing that Red Devil on Prize Picks for Parker Livingstone to score a touchdown, right?
And maybe let's ask this question.
Every week, Jason, every week from here on out.
This might sound a little unfair to number 1, but everybody, let's have a big boy discussion. If the first big pass play next week is a similar kind of slant route to what Wingo dropped today, what do you do next week against UTEP? Do you run it again with Wingo to give him the confidence?
For sure.
Or do you run it with 13?
You run it again. The coaches have to be thinking about this, I think, the same way I am, which is, and I think it's a great time for them to have a bye week going into the Florida game. I don't think this team's had when you get into the season, it's hard to – practices become hard because there's so much game prep. But this team's been so focused because of the Ohio State game. I think they've been probably so zeroed in on game thought that I think that week off, once they're able to get through, we don't even know what the injury situation will look like, but they'll probably a week off before SEC play really kicks in. It's probably not a bad thing. And I think that they'll be able to assess where are we through. I think they make the Ryan Wingo, the question that you just asked, ask that going into Gainesville. If we're through week 4.
Oh, if we get that far and we don't know, that's a whole nother thing.
But I think then.
But I'm saying, isn't next week the week where once and for all, you got to figure out who that guy is.
I don't know.
We'll see. I don't know either.
Raise your hand if you had Amari Winston with more receiving yards than Ryan Wingo. Right?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't have that. Winston had more just on that one catch, Jason?
Yeah, he had 30. Where did he go? 33.
How about that? And Wingo finished with what?
30.
30.
Wow.
4 for 30.
Now there's a stat.
Someone in the chat asked about Vosick, and I did not see Vosick if he played, but I did see Zena Umozola was out there, which I was pretty early in the game.
I felt like I saw Vosick play.
Was he? Okay. He didn't record a stab. He might have been
Yeah.
out there. But no.
Good question, James. I didn't see him. Catch that he did see him at one point, but
he's 92, right?
yes.
Yeah, I saw 92 out there.
Okay. How about this super chat again from Michael? Thank you, Michael. $4.99. Why are you going to punt block in the first? That was quarterback sneak on 4th and goal bad. Gives them the new downs and worse starting field position.
Because you got Dwayne Aquina back as like that's what
they
he does.
said, like the audience. They said like in their meeting with Banks, like the TV commentator said that they saw something on film. They thought they could block a punt, so they thought Taft would get a free run.
You know that there's no Dwayne Aquina coach team is not going to have somebody trying to block a punt.
Okay, wait. Do fans really get upset when 4 guys are crushing a punter? I get that they didn't block the punt. That's the part you got to fix. But
Chad, these people got mad at me last week for just pointing out that the defense. Okay. They get mad.
There were 4 guys.
Don't be a messenger. This is not a job for the weak of heart.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know if I do not know if it was quarterback sneak on the 4th and goal bad. I'm not going to put it in on that level myself.
Who do we think was the best player?
Troy is up on Clemson. Wow.
The game is suspended.
Clemson and Cade disappointing us so far. Oh, they're suspended for weather?
I think so. It's been delayed for a while.
Or did they call the game?
No, it's 7-0 delayed.
Oh,
first quarter.
Maybe Troy got the lead and everybody freaked out. Hopefully the weather will give them a chance.
Goose Crowder went 4 for 4 for 74 yards and a touchdown for Troy.
Goose Crowder?
That's his name.
That's a badass name, too. Goose Crowder.
Just one day of my life, I think I'd like to be known as Goose Crowder.
Goose. Talk to me, Goose. Beat Clemson for me, Goose. Can you do it? There's old Goose Crowder.
Look at Goose. I don't know what I expected Goose to look like, but sure.
Hey, I'd live a day as Goose Crowder now. Come on. That's got to be a good thing. Quarterback at Troy. All right. We've cleaned up all the super chats. Jump in if you want. Shout out again to TCH Social Austin for having us back out. Make your plans for next week. The 3:15 kick for UTEP. We'll be back out here. 183 and Anderson Mill. Come check it out. The Bad Beat Bacon was excellent. Yes, I ordered it again. How was your burger?
It was good, but I got full fast.
Okay, that'll happen.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that'll happen. And the chicken sandwich is excellent too.
You saw what I did with
chicken.
The Bad Beat Bacon, right?
You put the bacon on the burger.
I took the all of it and put it on the burger.
Yeah, you did. Good call. A very good call by Jeff Ketchum. Come on out and join us next week. 3:15 kick for UTEP. Shout out to the Lowy Law Firm for sponsoring the postgame show. Anwar will join us, we hope, from DKR as soon as Sark is done talking to the media. So
what are they doing?
What do you do if you're in that group today, fellas? 38-7. Jason, what's your first question? I mean, like, what would I was trying to figure out?
Or is Arch hurt?
See, it's interesting. He goes there, right?
He wouldn't give you an answer, but honestly, that's what I want to know.
I said to Jason, I said to Catch earlier, an NFL media group would ask if the quarterback is hurt. College groups are a little bit different. And when they win 38-7, and he didn't look like he labored it at all really in the game. There wasn't a moment where he really looked like he was in pain. So it's kind of an insensitive question. It's kind of a little dickish if you ask it.
You can say, like, hey, do you have any injury updates on DeAndre Moore, Michael Taft, Colin Simmons? And oh, by the way, is Arch 100%?
Arch running. Yeah.
Hey, so Sark said in the post game, and I'm going to ask Anwar about this. Like,
okay.
He made a point of saying that Sark said that this team likes playing for Arch. You can feel it on the sidelines.
That's what he said today.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, am I just a dick because it's impossible not to think about what the implications of that? I don't remember him. I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe he says that every year about every quarterback.
Well, I mean, that's okay, but dig further into that. What's the dickish thing off of that? A team that wants to play for its quarterback?
I know what he's saying. He's basically saying he didn't say that about Quinn Ewers, right? Is that what you're getting at, Catch?
I'm just.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see.
I'm just saying.
Okay. You're not saying, but you're saying?
No, I'm saying it.
Okay. You're
he
saying
said it.
Okay.
I thought I said it.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. $9.99 from Barb's 10. Arch needing live bullets at this level, so I'm okay with the ups and downs. Where do I get my commemorative Wingo and Simmons gold-plated milk carton? Damn. Livingston coming out party. LOL. Barb's 10 does well done, Barb's 10. Yeah, can somebody get a message to Joe Tess? Joe, I know what your rep is. That you're too over the top guy and you're too everybody guy, but I assume you can read. The end of the kid's name is Stone. Living Stone, not Living Stun. Come on, Tess.
Hey, know this, that at least after the game, Sark, because it sounds like Sark's pretty pissed about the penalties.
He should be. Yeah, it's good.
But he didn't make the team run sprints after the game like Fran Brown did with Syracuse today.
Oh, wow.
In front of everybody?
Yes.
That's awesome. We need more of that. We need more of that. That's what we need. We needed it. Sark should have made him run a 110. A couple 110s after the game. A 38-7.
I'm going to make Anwar run some 110s if he doesn't hurry up and get in this post-game show.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Hey, see how creative you guys are. I said, someone's got to come up with a good name for Parker Livingstone. I was like, Parker living in the end zone stone? I don't know, but I was like, somebody more creative than me has to come up with a good name for that dude. He's earned it. So
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, we need Anwar here. We're going off the rails already a little bit.
Living in the stone. Yeah, I don't know. Stone Age. Well, Stone Age sounds slow.
And Syracuse beat UConn in overtime.
So they won the game and he made him run? Way to go, coach. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Jump on in the super chats if you want to. We'll see if Anwar shows up, and we know Specs always shows up. Let's hear from Lisa, and then we'll keep talking about Texas's win.
Texans know for selection and lower prices, it all starts at Specs. Shop Specs! With all your favorites on tap, you'll bring home the win. Boots on, drinks up. The fun starts here. Shop Specs!
Yes, indeed. Again, hopefully Anwar will check in from the press box at DKR. Texas wins 38-7. You hope all the guys that were a little dinged up are okay. Michael Taft limped off at one point. I don't know that. Hopefully that's not a big deal. The big one for me was DeAndre Moore overall. I mean, there's a couple of them, obviously, but DeAndre Moore looking like he needed.
They said he got dinged up, and then they just held him out after that. But it doesn't sound like it was too crazy.
When you noticed it on the replay, can we get an officiating group that cares about blows to the head in this game? My goodness, there were 2 or 3 different moments where dudes took a shot to their helmet.
Did you see the DeAndre Moore one, Jason? I'm sure you saw Anthony Hill when he forced the fumble and he clobbers a guy in the head.
Yeah.
DeAndre Moore got full-on ear hold. It looked like the kid threw a punch at him, but it happened so fast. And It was kind of a weird glancing blow, but I mean, it hit him in the ear hole. And, in boxing, when that happens,
you go down.
They go down?
Yeah, you go down.
He went down. And people were looking at him hit the ground, and it was like, man, I don't know if he was awake when he hit the ground. I think part of the reason why he hit the way that he did was because he may have been out.
Okay, I was wondering because when he was coming off the field, I was like, that doesn't look good. It looks like he's out or something.
The other thing, and this may be looking too far into it, I wondered because it had happened after the Colin Simmons play, because Colin Simmons does that and then goes and kind of clowns it on the sideline. They caught Colin Simmons throwing punches and all that kind of stuff. Is there any way that got back to San Jose State and my man went after DeAndre Moore?
Running full speed.
Okay.
And was leaping to make the tackle.
Because I thought both plays were just in the moment play.
And it happened so fast. It wasn't even noticed by the TV guys.
Right. It was.
But I showed you. I was like,
I didn't see it live either. You
I was
saw
like,
it.
man, he got punched in the head, it looked like. And then in the replay, you saw it. And it was like, right in the ear hole.
Yeah, that's
just crazy.
It was rough. Hopefully, DeAndre Moore will be all right. Somebody just went and got something at Specs. Way to go, Jason. There you go. Good play. Getting stocked up at Specs for
Anwar.
The evening's game.
Where's Anwar?
Catch is calling for Anwar right now.
It's 58 minutes into this show. This could go as long as the game.
Maybe you need to get stocked up at Specs because you're going to watch the one college football game that really matters today with a ranked matchup. Oklahoma, Michigan. Both you guys got Oklahoma winning tonight? Catch?
Put that much thought into it, honestly.
Give me Oklahoma.
I don't know.
Oklahoma win?
You're going to rush the field.
If they rush the field, please let them rush the field. If they win, I got to
rush the field, Chad.
I got OU winning. And what I keep wondering, guys, is when we get there, when we get to the week of the OU game, will it be, it's always big, it's always a big deal, the rivalry and all that, but will Texas fans have a proper respect for what Oklahoma is that day? Will it be required? Will they beat Michigan tonight? Will they beat Michigan and beat Auburn? And then Texas fans are going to have to say, all right, got to dial in on that game. That's what I want to see tonight, Jason. Is Oklahoma real enough that Texas is really going to have to deal with them and worry about them?
I want to see Mateer play. I didn't get to watch last week. I was just kind of keeping an eye on the stats, but and I want to see Michigan's quarterback for that matter, the freshman. We're like long story, but I'll be closely dialed into that game. I'll be watching it with some diehard Michigan fans who I don't know very well, but they invited my wife and I over to the house for the first time, so I got to be on my best behavior. So I'll probably be rooting for Michigan. Yeah,
there you go. Be good. You know you're Michigan on that one. Yeah, that's an easy one. Can I get you to come over and root against Oklahoma? Yes, you can. All right.
They're going to feed me, so I'm like, hey, I'll show up. Yeah, they're supplying food. So yeah.
There it is. Jefferson, I hope so. I hope it is 55-3 Michigan. That would be awesome. All right, Texas wins it 38-7. What do you want to do, Catch? You want to let Jason go here and then head towards an exit? We're going to wait around for Anwar? What do you want to do?
I can hang out till Almar shows up, but
that's true. We can. That's true. Do you want to go ahead and
Well, yes, of course I do. We are, as far as I'm concerned. We post-game this thing up.
Okay, we've post-gamed it enough.
I mean, if I don't want to do it for more than an hour, why would anybody want to watch it for more than an hour?
Well, that's. I mean, that is fair. So so you think we should just close up?
No, what are we expecting from San Jose State's postgame show?
Right, probably not a ton. So we're gonna close up.
Let's close it up. And we just do Anwar. Like, dude, it was an hour. It was San Jose State.
It was San Jose State. Okay. Fair enough.
We're caught up on Super Chats.
We are caught up. We're caught up on Super Chats. Thank you guys for jumping in. Thanks again to TCH Social Austin for having us out. 3:15 is the kick for UTEP. Y'all take care. Thanks to Adam Lowy. Lowy Law Firm brings you the post-game show each and every week. Y'all have a good one. And until next week and the post-game show after UTEP, Texas gets the win. They're 1-1 on the year. They win it 38-7. Y'all